Okay, last video we're gonna take a look at some compound interest formulas. So it says compound interest. This is if we're compounding a certain number of times. This is going to be if we're compounding continuously. So first thing we want to note is A of t is the amount in the account after t years. P is the principal or initial amount invested. N is the number of times compounded. R is the rate as a decimal. So we'll need to make sure we divide it by 100. And then T is the time. So it says, suppose you invest $1,000, so we know our principal is going to be 1,000, at a rate of 10%, so we know our rate's going to be 0.10. Compounded annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, and daily, let's say for 5 years. Okay, so the time is going to be 5. We're going to be changing n here. So let me take a quick second to make some room here. So if we're compounding annually, how long is it that we are compounding for? How many times per year are we compounding? Well, if it's annually, we will compound once. So we're going to plug into this compound interest formula right here. So it's going to be the amount in our account after 5 years is equal to our principal, which is 1,000, times 1 plus our interest rate, which is 0.10, divided by the number of times we compound, which is 1, raised to the number of times we compound, which is 1, times how long it's in there. So 1 times 5, I'm going to work this out. This is just 5. And then we can work this out. It's going to be 1,000 times 1 plus 0.10 is 0.10, 0.10 is going to be 1.10 raised to the 5th power. And I'm just going to work this out in the calculator. 1,000 parentheses 1.10, and that's raised to the 5th power. After 5 years, if we had that interest rate, the amount in the account would be $1,610.51. How about if we compound quarterly? Well, everything about this is going to stay the same except for the number of times we're going to compound. If it's quarterly, would be 4. So the amount in the account after 5 years would be 1,000. Parentheses 1 plus our interest rate is still 10%, divided by, we're now compounding it quarterly, and then this is to the nt, so it's going to be the number of times is 4 times 5. So let's simplify this a little bit. It's going to be 1,000, and then I'm going to work out what's in here. 0.10 divided by 4 is 0.025, so 1 plus that is 1.025, and then 4 times 5 is to the 20th power. So this is going to be 1,000 times 1.025 raised to the 20th power gives me $1,638, and we're going to round this to the nearest cent. It would be 62 cents. So if I compounded quarterly, you can see I picked up a little bit more money. Let's talk about compounding monthly. Monthly would be 12 times. Why don't you take a second and work this out? So we're still compounding over the period of 5 years. It's going to be 1,000 times 1 plus 0.10 divided by 12 raised to the 12 times 5. Well, let's work out what's inside that parentheses. So if I do 1 plus 0.10 divided by 12, I get 1.00833. At this point, I think I'm probably just going to type this straight in. The one thing we want to be careful of is 12 times 5. I'm going to write that as 60. So 1,000 parentheses 1 plus 0.10 divided by 12, and that's raised to the power of 60. This gives me $1,645.31. Again, picking up a little bit more money if it's compounded monthly. All right, working on this, we're going to compound this daily. So if I compound this daily, our n is going to be, n here is going to be 365. So we still have 5 years, right? It's going to be 1,000 times 1 plus 0.10 is our 10% interest rate. And then we're compounding this 365 days this year. It's not a leap year. And then it's going to be 365 times 5. 365 times 5 is 1825. So I will change this to 1825 as my exponent. The reason I'm doing this is sometimes people don't get this whole thing up in the exponent, so it's best to just work this out to one single number. So now I'm going to type this straight into the calculator, 1,000 parentheses 1 plus 0.10 divided by 365, and that's raised to the power of 1,825, and I get $1,648.61. So we can see every time we increase the number of times it compounds, we make a little bit more money. So the best way to have your money compounded is to compound it continuously. Now, it's a little funky. This is a different formula. This is the formula we're using. E, remember, is that constant that it's like 2.71. It's like pi. It's an irrational number. P is still the principal. R is our rate, and T is our time. So we're going to use, with this one, we're going to use P e to the RT. So the amount in the account after 5 years is going to equal to our principal, which is 1,000, times our constant E, raised to our interest rate, which is 0.10, times the amount of time it's invested. So 0.10 times 5, again, I like to work that out. So this ends up being 0.5. And if I do 1,000 times E to the 0.5, I get $1,648.72. Sorry, these should all be money values, right? So you can see it wasn't a lot, but it was about 9 cents more, or I'm sorry, 11 cents more that I made when it was compounded continuously. So what type of compounding, if I'm going to extend this idea further, what type of compounding would you prefer your investments? We would prefer continuous because that's what gives us the most money.